know, after taking Andy's trainings, your life really will never be the same again.
All right, welcome back to MyAndyBuck.com. I'm here with my friend Jackson Tanner. Jackson, you were in one of our recruiting classes back in October, I believe.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the process, how you felt about the hiring process that you went through, that week that we did that.
So I mean, the interview process was great. The actual interview was really cool. And then what happened with my situation, which I thought was interesting, is great in a good way. Andy explained to me like, hey, I like you. I just think that you don't have a GED.
Wow.
So you should probably, I don't know if we can hire you without having a GED. And that was a Tuesday. And so then I went home, I went on like the GED website, and I found out that because of COVID, you can do your test online. And you have to put a desk in a room with no distractions. You have to unplug any electronics. You have to make sure there's no sound in the apartment, like all sorts of stuff. So I did that, took my final test of the GED, got my GED, and then, Andy said I got hired on Friday.
Yeah.
So
I actually remember that time, and it was kind of interesting because we had a little heart-to-heart conversation, didn't we, in that interview?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was going to talk with this general manager to see if you were hireable anyway, and you actually called me before I could get an answer back from HR. You actually contacted me and said, "Andy, I got my GED. Can I come to training?" And I was like, absolutely, yeah, that was awesome. So well done. For those of you who are out there that may not have your GED, listen, you can do it online. Get it done. Get it out of the way. Move it on. Was it all that hard?
It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, that was one of the coolest things that I'd ever seen happen, quite frankly. And then you came to class on Thursday.
Yeah.
And we went through a selection process. There was quite a few people in the class. I think there was 13, 14 people in the class.
Oh,
and I think we ended up taking 6,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, from that group. You were one of those selected from that group. How did you feel about that selection process?
That was awesome.
Yeah?
It was great. It feels great to be selected. And I thought there was a really funny moment where someone, you had listed the people's names. You had just written everyone's name on a piece of paper. And one of the people there who had gotten selected saw his name on the paper and panicked and got up, and he was like, "Oh, I know I haven't been selected. I get it. This happens to me all the time." And you were like, "Hold on, sit down. Like, what's going on?" And so
I think I might have been a little more forceful than that.
Oh yeah, you definitely were. You definitely were.
You're being kind. But that was pretty awesome. And then you got selected, and then we had a week of onboarding, and then I came back for 5 days of training. So. A lot of the students in my classes actually only get that day and a half because the dealership doesn't commit to that extra 5 days of training, which is so important.
Super duper.
And I'd like for you to just share a little bit about your experience during that 5 days of training and what it really meant to you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've heard other dealerships I've heard people say basically you get hired and then they throw you to the wolves, so to speak. But with the 5 days of training, I really felt like, and by the end of the training, I was like, okay, yeah, I can sell a car. Like, this is awesome. And I remember on the first day after training, when we actually went out on the showroom floor, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm nervous. Like, I'm really scared." And I was like, I feel trained. Like, I was talking to people in service. I was ready to go. I felt great. And it really instills confidence in you because it's a long process going through trying to sell a car, and all these different steps are it's not something that you can really just know. You have to go through the process so that everything gets demystified, and okay, so this is how, not only do you know the steps of the sale, which I'm sure they would give you a piece of paper that says, hey, here's how you do a sale, but what Andy does is he goes through and really explains, this is what you're going to do, this is why you're going to do it, and this is how you're going to do it. And I think that makes a world of difference.
I appreciate those kind of words because I do believe that when you know what you're supposed to do, when you know what's expected, it's a lot easier to hit the bullseye, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, goodness gracious, and no deal is ever perfect, so you can't train for every single scenario.
Yeah.
But at least gives you some way to know, okay, this is what it should look like, or it can look something like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, because I remember right, you guys started on that Friday, because we had people everywhere, and I was kind of just pushing you guys out, like, go get them, and we were like working together on that.
Oh yeah.
So that was pretty exciting. So you've been selling since October, so about 6 months.
Yeah.
On average, about how many cars are you selling each month?
Depending on how hard I work,
Okay.
I usually do a minimum of like 18.
Okay.
Typically, I average around 20, 21.
Okay.
But the last couple of months, I've been iterating and learning how to overturn objections a little bit more.
Okay.
And so now I'm hitting closer to the 23, 24 mark.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
So continuous development, right?
Yeah.
It's important to continually develop your craft. You've got to be a pro. And, a lot of people, when they get into any job, they think that being a pro is just going out there and doing it. And really, in this business, you get a raise by getting better at what you do. If you want to get better at what you do, you've got to learn how to do more things.
Oh yeah.
And I really appreciate that about you. You don't have a problem finding a way to get a little bit better at what you do.
Oh yeah.
You also have a bit of an acting background, don't you?
That's true.
Don't
Yeah.
you?
I did two shows off Broadway as an actor. And it's like, selling cars is pretty similar to doing 8 shows a week, because, you're doing basically the same thing, but depending on how the person that you're working with, or in acting, your acting partner, depending on what they're giving you, what material you're getting from them, you have different ways of being able to improvise and navigate that interaction. And so like, even if you're saying the same lines, you get a little bit better every time at the inflection of the line, and something that I've been working on a lot is slowing down a little bit, because when I first started, I was saying the same things, but I would be like, oh, I absolutely understand what you're thinking, but here's what I'm thinking,
Right.
and most customers feel that, but instead, I have to, break it down and explain things to people and be calm, because the more calm I am, the more calm they are, but still excited.
Yeah, exactly. There's a difference between calm and dead.
Yeah.
You're not trying to be dead, but you are trying to speak their language and make sure that they understand that you're hearing them.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. And I'm working a lot on like mirroring now, and just sort of like picking up on their vibe.
Took some of that NLP to heart, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
All right. We learned a little bit about that in class too.
Yeah.
Just enough to get you going.
Yeah.
But well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of all the work that you've done and the work you continue to do. You're a great success story. And honestly, the people that do go through the training class, generally speaking, we retain 70 to 80% of the people that go through the training class. They stay at the store and work out. So it reduces turnover. It makes for a better client or a better employer relationship, because I'm sure that you felt a lot better talking to the managers. You knew at least a little bit what was going on.
Oh yeah.
And it's less frustrating for the desk. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. I wish you the very best of luck, man. You're a superstar. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, and I mean, the last thing I'll say is to paraphrase the end of the speech that we go through in class. After taking Andy's trainings, your life really will never be the same again.
That's rule number 10, right?
Yeah.
Beginning today, treat everyone you meet, friend or foe, loved one or stranger, as if they were going to be dead by midnight.
Yeah.
Extend to each person, no matter how trivial the contact, all the care, kindness, understanding, and love you can muster, and do it with no thought of any reward, because
Your life will never be the same again.
rock on, baby. Thank you so much, Jackson.
Absolutely. Thank you.